This is examples in music for objective 59.1. 59.1 says define the concepts of total serialism in regards to music composition. Total serialism is using serial methods of composition for pitch as well as other items other than pitch. Nearly every element of music is structured, ordered, and equally distributed. These elements can include rhythmic durations, articulations, and even dynamics. Pierre Boulez's Structures for Piano is one example of total serialism. When you're researching this topic, you might find it under the heading of integral serialism. These are some of the serial theoretical structures that Pierre Boulez uses in his piece. Here's mapping out and ordering of the pitches, of the durations, of the dynamics, and of the articulations. And here's a bit of the composition by Pierre Boulez's use of total serialism or integral serialism. Objective 59.2 says define and identify metric modulation in real music examples. Metric modulation occurs when the tempo pulse of a note value changes within a piece of music. Metric modulation is often accompanied with a change of time signature, but that is not required. It most often involves notation that displays how subdivisions of one meter relate or equal to the different subdivisions of the new meter. And the result is a smoothing of what would otherwise be an abrupt change of tempo. This is a piece by Elliot Carter, shown in a YouTube animated score available through the Guru Bach channel. You'll notice that the screen is split, and this is a way of showing you the notes without being zoomed out too much. So in a regular score, you would see this side at the top of the page and this side at the bottom of the page. We'll start it from the beginning. Notice how it says moderato quarter note equals 105.
And that every so often the bell is bound to shake. He runs to the south critical, awkward in a state of control, panic, a student go.
At this point, we see the time signature 2-2 approaching. The original time signature was 4-4. Above the score, we see the instruction that's signifying the metric modulation. It's saying that the 16th note of a quintuplet is now going to equal the 16th note of a septuplet. Where the original tempo was quarter note equals 105, the new tempo is going to be an overall half note equal 75. This line here has the quintuplets that go straight into the septuplets. Because of the metric modulation instruction, there should be no change in tempo of these particular notes. But because of going from 5 to 7 within the overall pulse from here to here will be elongated by a duration of 2 of these 16-note values. I'm going to back up the piece a little bit and notice how this will stay the same and how the overall tempo changes at the metric modulation point. Here's another metric modulation point, again where the oboe line with the 16th notes is going to stay the same. Here it says the 16th note of the septuplet is going to equal the 16th note overall, changing the time signature to 3-4, the quarter note equaling 131. On this side, where it took 7 16th notes to equal 1 tempo pulse, over here it's going to take only 4 16th notes to equal 1 tempo pulse, and the pulse will appear to speed up. I'll back up a little bit and we'll see if we can notice that.
On his left, a sheet of interrupting goes and glazes over his dark and grit of feet. He runs straight through it, watching his toes, watching rather the spaces of sand between them, where no detail too small.
Objective 59.3 says define and identify minimalism, moment form, and chance form in real music examples. Minimalism is an art genre found in many mediums, such as painting, sculpture, and music. This is where a minimum of elements comprise the makeup of the art. This can pertain to the number of musicians, the number of instruments, the number of notes, or the dynamics. It often involves a great deal of repetition. In painting, an example of minimalism would be where you have a blank canvas with either one line or one dot representing the art. This is an example from Steve Reich called Clapping Music, featured in an animated YouTube score by Guru Bach. Steve Reich has several of these type of phase pieces. Do a search for one piece called Piano Phase, performed by two live pianos, the same 12 notes continually being offset by 1/16th note throughout the piece. Another great example for you to search on minimalist music is Terry Riley's In C, a piece for an unlimited amount of musicians using a number of different structured, predetermined motives, but their order is undetermined, and the length of the overall piece is undetermined as well. Moment form music often describes a non-goal-oriented composition that involves abrupt changes from one style of music to another. There's no need to make musical connection or logical connection between the sections. This piece by Stockhausen is thought of to be an example of moment form. Chance music describes music which has an element of random procedure involved in the composition and or the performance of the piece. The music of John Cage often comes to mind when speaking of chance music. If you look up for performances of the piece 4 minutes and 33 seconds, you'll find a work that usually involves a pianist sitting at the piano silently for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. When this work is performed, the sense is that the music that happens is that of whatever happens in the performance hall at the time. Another piece by John Cage, entitled Imaginary Landscape No. 4, involves the use of a number of radios with the instructions of turning them to different volumes and different stations. The soundscape of the resulting performance is unpredictable and random. Here's an example of that piece.
À titre de ministre.
Department reports that during the first quarter, the gross domestic product rose at a far from...
Apples. Competitive models and the level of equipment may vary.
It does not look like an all-day rain outside.
And probably into June as well. Hopefully that will really help.